One of the most intriguing questions in theology revolves around the origins of evil. If God created all things perfect, as the Bible teaches, where did Satan's wickedness arise? How could a being created without flaw become the embodiment of sin and rebellion against God? These questions delve into the profound mystery of Satan's fall and the introduction of evil into the world. The Bible tells us that all things, including the angels, were created by God through Jesus Christ. John 1:1-3 explains, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made." These verses establish that all creatures, both spiritual and material, owe their existence to God's creative power. This includes Lucifer, who was later known as Satan. Created as an angel of extraordinary beauty and wisdom, Lucifer was a being of perfection, radiating with divine brilliance. His fall from grace raises the question: how did imperfection and evil enter the world if all of God's creations were flawless? The story of Lucifer's rebellion and fall from his exalted position is vividly depicted in the Bible. The prophet Isaiah describes Satan's original glory and the subsequent pride that led to his downfall. "How you have fallen from heaven, morning star, son of the dawn. You have been cast down to the earth, you who once laid low the nations. You said in your heart, 'I will ascend to the heavens. I will raise my throne above the stars of God. I will sit enthroned on the Mount of Assembly, on the utmost heights of Mount Zaphon. I will ascend above the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High.' But you are brought down to the realm of the dead, to the depths of the pit." Here, the ambition of Lucifer is clear. He desired to exalt himself above God. His aspiration to ascend above the tops of the clouds and make himself like the Most High was the seed of his downfall. Despite his created perfection, Lucifer's pride turned his heart away from his Creator. The prophet Ezekiel also gives us a profound description of Lucifer's initial perfection and the moment when iniquity was found in him. In Ezekiel 28:12-17, we read of the stunning beauty and splendor that once defined Satan. "You were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone adorned you: carnelian, chrysolite and emerald, topaz, onyx and jasper, lapis lazuli, turquoise and beryl. Your settings and mountings were made of gold. On the day you were created, they were prepared. You were anointed as a guardian cherub, for so I ordained you. You were on the holy mount of God. You walked among the fiery stones. You were blameless in your ways from the day you were created till wickedness was found in you. Through your widespread trade, you were filled with violence, and you sinned. So I drove you in disgrace from the mount of God, and I expelled you, guardian cherub, from among the fiery stones." This passage provides a vivid picture of Satan's original state. He was adorned with precious stones, had a position of high honor, and was anointed as a guardian cherub. Yet, despite his blameless beginnings, wickedness was found in him. His beauty and splendor led to pride, and that pride, in turn, led to his downfall. At the heart of Satan's rebellion was pride. Ezekiel 28:17 states, "Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendor." Satan's beauty, once a reflection of God's own glory, became a source of self-glorification. This corruption of wisdom, brought about by his arrogance, was the turning point in his relationship with God. As Satan's pride grew, he sought not just to rival God, but to supplant him. His pride clouded his judgment, leading him to rebel against the Creator. This rebellion was not just an isolated event. It was a direct challenge to God's sovereignty and order. Satan did not rebel alone. Revelation 12:4 symbolically describes a third of the stars being swept away by the dragon's tail, representing Satan's influence over a group of angels who followed him in his revolt against God. These angels, once pure and holy, were seduced by Satan's prideful ambition. They too fell from their exalted state and became known as demons, opposing God's divine plan. The rebellion of Satan and these angels led to a permanent moral decay, from which there was no return. Their hearts, once filled with the light of God's glory, were now consumed by sin and darkness. It is crucial to remember that while Satan and his followers embody evil, the Bible consistently portrays God as entirely just and righteous. God is not the author of sin. James 1:13 makes it clear, "When tempted, no one should say, 'God is tempting me.' For God cannot be tempted by evil, nor does he tempt anyone. God's creation, including Satan, was originally good. The fall into sin was a result of free will, a gift that allows beings to choose either obedience or rebellion. Satan's pride and desire for self-exaltation caused his downfall, not any flaw in God's creation. Satan's rebellion did not go unnoticed or unpunished. God, in his justice, cast Satan and his angels out of their heavenly abode. As Ezekiel 28:17 states, "So I threw you to the earth, I made a spectacle of you before kings." This expulsion marks Satan's final separation from the divine presence and sets the stage for his ongoing opposition to God's purposes on earth. Even though Satan has been cast out of heaven, he continues to exert influence in the world. His mission now is to oppose God's plans and lead humanity astray. The New Testament calls him the accuser and the deceiver, Revelation 12:10, John 8:44, constantly working to sow discord and destruction. The fall of Satan sets up the ongoing cosmic battle between good and evil. Though Satan and his demons have been defeated spiritually, they still have influence in the world. However, the Bible assures believers that God's plan will ultimately triumph. Revelation 20:10 declares Satan's final judgment. "And the devil, who deceived them, was thrown into the lake of burning sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet had been thrown. They will be tormented day and night forever and ever." This final victory over Satan and evil reminds us that although sin may currently exist in the world, God's justice will ultimately prevail. Satan's rebellion, while devastating, serves to magnify God's righteousness and his plan for redemption through Jesus Christ. Satan's pride and fall offer important lessons for humanity. Pride, as we see from Satan's example, leads to destruction. Proverbs 16:18 warns, "Pride goes before destruction, a haughty spirit before a fall." Just as Satan's pride led to his expulsion from God's presence, human pride can distance us from God. In contrast, humility is commended throughout Scripture. James 4:6 reminds us, "God opposes the proud, but shows favor to the humble." By recognizing our dependence on God and submitting to his will, we can avoid the path of destruction that Satan chose. The story of Satan's fall from grace is a sobering reminder of the dangers of pride and rebellion. Satan, once a perfect being created by God, allowed his beauty and wisdom to corrupt his heart. His desire to exalt himself above God led to his downfall, and he now stands as the ultimate symbol of sin and opposition to God. Yet, in the midst of this tragic story, there is hope. God's justice will prevail, and Satan's rebellion will be fully defeated. For believers, the lesson is clear. Stay humble, remain obedient to God's will, and trust in his ultimate plan for victory over evil.